I'm going to show you how to copy a segment. So we're doing this as a construction. So that means we have to use a straight edge and a compass, and this will be exact, okay? So there will be little to no human error. I mean, there's always going to be some human error, but we can't just copy a segment by drawing a segment, measuring it, and redrawing, measuring again. So this is a construction. So the first thing you get to do is draw any length segment you want. Now, make sure it fits on that paper and don't get too ridiculous, okay? So it's supposed to be an unmarked straight edge, so I don't want you to measure it. Just draw a segment. I don't want you to measure it at all. We've got our points on the end, and we're going to label those points. Let's just label it A and B. All right, so to copy this segment and make the exact same length segment, we're going to use our compass. And so what we're going to do is draw a line somewhere else on the paper and label one point on the line. So we've got this. Now we're just going to draw another line, and it doesn't even have to be going the same direction. So that was a line segment. I'm just going to draw a line. So put arrows on both ends. Oh, and the line needs to be longer than the segment, because we know the line goes on forever, but like we can't draw that forever. So just make sure it's longer than that segment. And then we're going to label point on the line. So since we're going to copy this segment onto this line, we want to make sure that our first point is off to the side. So we're going to call that point C. Then you're going to place the point of the compass. So this is called the point of the compass. This is the pencil, this is the point. Make sure your pencil is sharp when you start. You're going to place the point of the compass on one of the endpoints. So here's one of the endpoints, endpoint B. You're going to place the point of the compass there, and the pencil point on the other endpoint. So we're going to now, not only that, we want this pencil point to hit exactly right there. So this takes a little getting used to. So notice that when I try to open this wider, they intersect. So all you do is if you just pull out, it might be easier to do this. If you pull them out or push them down, then it makes them further apart from each other. So usually I'm used to having the pencil being a little bit smaller here, so it's a little easier. But, so I'm just gonna pull that pencil down some more. So you can see that it's too wide now, right? So we wanted to get it hit right there. And again, we're not actually measuring it. We're just trying to get it to hit exactly right there. And here's the thing. This is the radius of a circle, right? Because this is really, compasses make circles. So what I want you to do is put a little arc to make sure you get it exactly right. So obviously that's not exactly right on there. So we always want to make a tiny little arc to try to get it to be exactly the right length. So since this is not right, I'm just going to push this in a little bit. Sorry. I'm going to push this in a little bit, or tilt that back to try to get it to be a little wider. So it's going to take some taking used to, some getting used to. All right, so that's good. So you get that good, and then I'm going to, again, that's pretty good. Okay, so now that I have that, I'm going to pick up my compass, and remember, now I have it the exact length of that segment. So then I'm going to come over here, I'm just going to flip it around, and you put pressure, guys, you press down on the point part, and then let the pencil just swoop. So some people struggle with this initially, and it's easier if you're watching me, but so I'm putting my pressure and my left hand on the point side, and then you just do, these compasses have a rounded tip, so they're a little harder to work with, and then just make an arc. And it doesn't have to be a huge arc, but you could, right? Oopsie, there it moved. I didn't ask for these compasses, I asked for the better ones. Okay, so then right there where that arc intersects the line, that's our other point that marks the segment that is congruent to that segment. So it's the same measure as well. So when we copy a segment, we're copying the actual figure, and so we have congruent segments, but we know that that means that their lengths are equal as well. So I want you to note a couple things that this means by construction. Line segment AB is congruent to line segment CD, which also tells us we can mark like this. Remember, the tally marks indicate that things are congruent or equal in measure. So that also tells us that, that the length of line segment AB is equal to the length of line segment CD. And what we can do is we can measure to see how accurate we were. So you can just get out your measuring tool, and I would use centimeters it's more accurate because it's smaller unit of measure. So for me, this is about 5.9 is what I got when I measured. So let's see if this is 5.9. And yeah, pretty much 5.9. So that was pretty good. And that's how you copy a segment.